picked up that old.
Greetings once again, everybody, and this is an update on my under 1000 group build. As you can see, I got the chassis, interior, motor pretty much done. A little hard to see with the light. Let's see if we can unglare that a little bit. That might make it a little dark, but there will be photos later to kind of show. But let's brighten that back up a little. So first of all, what we have here is white ice interior with a burgundy mist, so-called. At least the factory car would be a burgundy mist. Got a beautifully detailed dash. Got carpeting in there, chrome trim. There was a few parts that I failed, I guess would be the word for it. There should have been a chrome trim right above the burgundy carpeting, and there should have been a chrome trim at the start and there around the inside edge, but not in the middle. However, I had missed that and did not see that until after I had already had seats glued in with the sidewalls on, so I'm like, eh, shit. And also, the kick panels should have been in the burgundy carpet as well. As you can see down there, it is white. That should have been burgundy. I could cut a piece and slide it down in there to finish that off, but I'm not too concerned about that. Now, I do not know if they originally had speaker perforations on their package tray or not, so I did not bother too much with that at all. Now, up here up front, everything on the firewall is just hand detail painted. We got some flat black parts, we got some glass black wiring, and the windshield wiper thing. We got the brake booster. It is drilled out. It's not completed yet because I need to get it in the car. But this one will go down to a proportioning valve, and I also have to run the driver's side brake line, which over here it's kind of hard to see, but there is a chrome line that goes to that tire and to the rest. I do have spark plug wires in it. I have my oil dipstick on there. I ran the water line that goes from the manifold to the water pump, and then there's a temperature sensing unit that goes over here to the wiring harness. I'm really not fond of this extremely long belt system that's on here. Just looking at it, it's extremely far away from anything. It's extremely far forward of everything. There's a lot of, to me, even the snout of the fan could have been shorter. All of this could have been shrunk down quite a bit and still been accurate. And I believe if this was an air conditioning car, this would have been the AC a little bit lower, if not flush with the top of the valve cover, and the alternator would have been on this side. I do not believe this to be an air conditioned car because there is no AC pump, so we'll just call it good at that. But this is a nice coppered bronze motor. They are not actually gold color, although there was a couple of years where it was a bit more lighter, more goldish. And then under here, this is where there's a lot of fun. We got the gas tank with the gas straps. We got a gloss black frame with a body color chassis. We got nickel, satin nickel exhaust with some, everything's been weathered with pastel acrylics. We got silver for the exhaust mufflers and the little C-clamps. We got silver exhaust tips, the correct crimped style, and only the tips of them are chrome in the real car, so these are reasonably accurate. I did drill them out and put the black in there, so those are detailed. As you can see, we got a couple of fuel lines that go all the way up to the front. There's two different sizes. The thick is the fuel line that goes to the carb. The thin one is the return line that goes back, and the venting would actually be next to the filler neck. On the rear axle, we have the brake line that goes all the way across with, it's probably impossible to see, but there is a gold colored brass T-block up there for this line here, which goes all the way up to the proportioning valve, which then goes across to the front tire, to the other front tire, and up to the master cylinder as well. This is a stick shifts, and I didn't really feel like the fun of putting in the shifter and the slave cylinder stuff would have been worth it. I do have a hole ready in my starter for going up to the battery. I chose to go with a black oil filter rather than a orange Fram or whatever else. We got some silver tie rod ends along with the lockdown nuts. We got a satin nickel stabilizer with the black bushing holders. So for the most part, you can tell it is a reasonably nice, detailed, dirty Survivor with low miles on it, as it has not completely rusted, it's not extremely dirty. It's just a very nice medium mile Survivor with minor improvements over the years, perhaps new brake or fuel line or something thereof. The mufflers are pretty decent. With low miles, probably would have been good. The pipes would have been original, which gives them that nice browner golden look to them. The tie rod ends were probably replaced due to alignment issues with these wider tires on them. The original skinnies were just, they don't fit the rim and inside rim because it's too wide overall. So I found some wider tires. The back ones are actually wider than the fronts. They all do roll. So anyway, the undercarriage is pretty well good and done. I do have a couple more pieces to do once I get the body on. We got a completed finished interior. It does not have a tack on it, which would actually go on the steering column, which even Jay Leno says just looks dorky and cobbled rather than a cool place for a factory option. It was never technically mounted to the dash. Down below in front of the shifter is actually a vacuum gauge. And up in the first square, not the big square, but the big little square, should actually have a 442 badge on it. So anyway, oh, and might be a little hard to see, but you can see the white lettering. Let me give you a little tip about that. If you happen to look in the material fabric sections of your local stores, let's put that back there so it's not quite so bright. This is a General's charcoal white, number 558, and it is a white pencil, basically a charcoal pencil. But all I do for this is keep it sideways and just pull it through, and you can whiten the letters without filling everything in, without getting too excessive. You can touch it by hand for the most part without it wearing off too much. If it does get on the tire elsewhere where you don't want it, you can wipe it off pretty easy. But this, with the amount of pencil that's there, actually going to last you a long time doing tires with. Now, as far as what's left, I currently have the air induction tubes in a gloss black, which once I weather them, they'll get dumbed down a little better, and they should look pretty good once they're done. I have not painted the air cleaner yet, which is most likely going to be a nice chroming silver. I have a couple other minor parts, front and rear bumper, the radiator, and hoses, which I believe do get to go on before they go in the car, but I want to make sure. I did black wash the sides and in the center, flat black on the shroud, chrome on the cap, and then the back side gets pretty well hidden behind the grill and everything else. But again, this fan sticks out just a little too far, and it keeps the, it kind of tilts slightly forward, so I really wish that was reworked a little better. And the battery, which does not go underneath the hood on the 66442, it might on the lesser versions, but not on a 442. Instead, they mount it right here to this little square, which is just barely too tall with the package tray, which I feel would actually cause problems once I mount the body. And seems I did not bother to cut the trunk open. I see no point in putting a battery back here, which will never be seen whatsoever. So I'm probably going to keep that out of the vehicle. And then, let me swap this out. We have this gorgeous burgundy mist body. Yeah, we're going to have to readjust the camera here to get this in the shot. Alright, so I have a picture of it next to this here little red Solo cup. And as you can tell, the Solo cup in the camera video thingy looks almost about the same color, but this is actually a clean, bright red, whereas this is actually a deeper Merlot burgundy. Maybe not quite as dark as I would have liked or chosen. However, I had to choose a satin burgundy. They didn't have a gloss one, but as you can tell, this is glossy. And what I did was I shot it with clear coat afterwards to give it that nice shine. And I'm currently having issues with the body. I mean, you would think something like that is a paint chip, but actually it's just the reflection on there, which is nice. But this here side trim molding, as much as I would love to bare metal foil, I'm probably just going to use Molotov, because as you can see up here, there is white chipping of the paint, which scares me dearly to think. You know, first of all, let me just say there is a chrome trim right here at the very bottom of the B pillar, C pillar, yeah, C pillar, A, B, C. And because this trim is here, it would be a vinyl top. It does not, however, have these seams or overlap areas on the mold, which is confusing, nor is there any texture on the top. So of course, put the masking tape on there with the slight overlap to make that seam, and cut and trim my way around, which is where this paint got removed. And that's what scares me so bad, because I currently have to fix a massive issue. That's right, a little bit of tape got onto the side and it stuck more than it needed to, and when I peeled it off, it removed this whole section. That sucks. So as I was looking through my options for this as to which way to go about this, one option was to cut the door out entirely for like opening doors, right? That's not a bad option, and it's definitely one I am capable of. But the interior is already together, and I could pull the dash and the one door panel off and make the whole door opening thing work if I felt like the added work. The other option is to mask this off, sand and paint just the door, which if I pull the tape off of here and even one little dot comes off of the paint, I'm right back to the same problem I had. Do I want to sand and scuff the whole side of the car, masking the top, and have that same problem? At what point do I stop chasing the potential for this to happen? Yeah, so that leaves me with another option of, do I try to just smooth in just this area? Now if I had the airbrush set up and I could blend in just that and wet sand and blend in and wet sand and get that nice and smooth and keep just within that area, clear coat and hide it, that's probably not a bad option. I could add some rusty patina in there, which I don't care for the patina stuff personally. The weathering underneath, yeah, that's one thing, but for these everybody wants patina rusty bodies, doesn't trip my trigger. They over rust them in areas that don't rust, then it just don't make any sense. It's like seeing a rusty 60 Corvette. It's fucking fiberglass. Anyway, so I'm not really exactly sure what to do with the side door on this one, but for the most part, I think what I'm going to do is continue working on the body, getting everything basically, deciding if I want to mask and Molotov the side or if I want to actually try to bare metal foil it. Yeah, I'm not really sure, because I mean, I could just take tape, stick it all over and see how much more pulls off, and worst case scenario, strip it, sand it, repaint it, and do it again. At this point, it would not be the worst option. I mean, that's just tape and paint. That's the only thing on here. So strip her down, repaint her, do it again, or figure out a way to touch it up and make it work. Not really sure yet. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the update on my group build. I'm down to the body and final details. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and see how I pull this off. Till next time, thank you for stopping by, and we shall see you later. Bye!
Show, especially late at night, I get the feeling sometimes if I turn real quick I'd see a soldier riding shotgun in the seat right next to me. It was a young man named Private Malone, who fought for his country and never made it home. But for every dream that's shattered, another one comes true. This car was once a dream of his back when it was new. He told me to take her and make her my own, and I was proud to be riding with Private Malone. But one night it was raining hard, I took the curve too fast. I still don't remember much about that fiery crash, but someone said they thought they saw a soldier pull me out. They didn't get his name, but I know without a doubt it was a young man named Private Malone, who fought for his country and never made it home. But for every dream that's shattered, another one comes true. This car was once a dream of his back when it was new, and bright.